that's where my baby might be.
Alright, now pick up the last batch of the cube steak, and we're going to show you how we make the gravy. Somebody wants to know how to make nice white gravy to go with the cube steak. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to make us some nice white gravy. First thing we have to do when we make a nice white gravy is we have to get rid of all the grease. We got to get rid of all this hot grease. We don't want to hurt ourselves. We want to be careful. I'm just going to pour it into another pot here out the way. I just pour off enough grease, and I leave a little bit down the bottom. You see that? Down the bottom there, there's a little bit of grease, just enough to cover my crumbs. Might have too much. Ooh, got a fire. Put the fire out. Fire in the woods. All right, I put that right down there, and then we'll just take flour and put flour right on top of that. You see that flour? I'm going to turn my heat down to about medium. That flour is going to soak up that excess grease. You see that? It's soaking up all that grease. We want to put just enough flour that we end up with a paste, a roux. We're going to make us a roux out of this. Nice roux. And the deal on the white gravy is the shorter amount of time you cook this roux, the whiter your gravy is going to be. If you want brown gravy, cook this roux for a long time. The longer you cook it, the browner it's going to get. So I go ahead and take it, make the white gravy, throw some water in it right away. Let's keep throwing that water in there. See it all bubble up and paste up and become real thick. I remember I got my heat down to medium. I turned it down to medium. I'm going to keep adding water until I get a consistency that I want with my gravy. A little bit foamy looking, a little sudsy. Just keep stirring it and working it, letting it cook. Then once I get a nice, looks kind of like a paste like that. I let it bubble and boil a little bit, keep stirring it, and then I'll just take some milk. I'm using 2% milk, and just put some milk right in there. And then that's going to give me my nice, thick, creamy, rich gravy. It's going to make it a little bit whiter. And I want to have nice, good, a little bit more water, a little bit more gravy look to it, a little less lumps. And I'll get my whisk out and just whisk it till it's all nice, good gravy consistency. My gravy might be a little bit tan. It's not really white, but it's still a white, creamy gravy. Trust me, it tastes wonderful. Now, somewhere in this process, take your pepper, throw some pepper in there. Just do it to taste. How much ever pepper you think would be tasting, how much ever salt you think we should put in there, whatever it tastes like. And you keep the medium heat, comes back to a boil. Just keep stirring it. Keep stirring it, keep stirring it, and then depending on taste, I'm going to add more milk or more water to make it a little thinner. I think I'm going to add a little water, and then it gets a little bit thinner. And you see I just keep stirring it, and just keep stirring it, letting it boil a little bit, letting it simmer. And I come back on the side here, scrape all that stuff. Let's get all that in the gravy. That's where the flavor comes from. The flavor comes from all those ground bits that fell off the cube steak while we were cooking it. That's what made our gravy. Look at that. Yeah. That's going to be good. It's a little thick. Let's thin it up a little bit of milk. Thin it up a little more, a little bit of milk. It's a little bit thinner. We keep stirring it. Keep stirring it until we're going to have ourselves a nice tasty gravy. Then I'm going to taste it. Put my finger in there. That's pretty good. Ooh, that's real good. Might need a little bit of salt. A little bit of pepper. A little pepper. And then just a little bit of salt. A little bit. Stir it one more time. Stir it. And according to taste, like I said, according to taste, you'll add salt. pepper, water, or milk, whichever one you think it needs more of. If you want it more creamy, add more milk. If you want it thinner, not as thick, add some water. And I think that's about perfect right there. We'll put that on top of our cube steak and on some little, maybe some rice, and it will be a thing of wonder. It will taste wonderful. Look at that. Just look at that creamy. And all we did was flour, water, and milk. A little bit of grease after we did some frying. That's going to taste like those cube steaks that we made. Creamy, juicy gravy in our black frying pan. All right, now tell me that doesn't look good. Baked beans, collard greens, cube steak, gravy, and cornbread.
That's where my baby might be.